The dog did not bark when she kicked the bowl aside. He did not growl when the gate slammed behind him, rattling like a verdict. He simply looked up at her with eyes that seemed to remember kindness she had forgotten, and in that quiet moment, beneath a sky the color of steel, something ancient and stubborn shifted, though she did not yet know it. The world had hardened her, sharpened her edges, taught her to survive by pushing away anything that asked for patience or mercy. But the dog waited, and waiting, it turned out, was a power stronger than anger. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet miracles that change hearts, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope. Leave your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps stories like this reach people who might be standing on the edge of change without knowing it. She lived alone in a narrow house pressed between louder lives, the kind of place where noise seeped through walls and compassion never did. Her days ran on strict schedules and sharper rules. She liked things clean, quiet, and obedient, and when the world refused to comply, she responded with control. Neighbors whispered about her temper, about the way her eyes narrowed at laughter and lingered on mistakes. She had learned early that softness invited loss, and so she had trained herself to be firm, exacting, unreachable. Loneliness was easier when it came with authority. The dog arrived by accident, or so she told herself. He wandered into her yard one evening, ribs faintly visible beneath a coat dulled by dust and weather, tail wagging with a hope that felt almost embarrassing to witness. She tried to chase him away, but he did not understand rejection. He circled back, sat at a distance and watched. The first night, she left him outside the gate. The second night, the rain came hard, and she told herself the sound on the roof was not his fault. By morning, he was still there, soaked and shivering, patient as a promise. She allowed him in with conditions: no noise, no mess, no affection. The dog accepted every rule without complaint, moving through the house like a guest afraid to take up space. He learned the rhythm of her steps, the hours she preferred silence, the corners she never noticed. He slept curled near the door, rose before dawn, and waited for permission that rarely came. She fed him sparingly, watched him closely, corrected him quickly to her. He was a responsibility, not a companion. Yet the dog was clever in ways she could not measure. He sensed the storms before they broke, the ones that gathered behind her eyes and tightened her jaw. On those days, he stayed close without touching, a quiet shadow that absorbed the sharp edges of the room. He learned the difference between anger and pain, between cruelty and fear. When she dropped something and cursed the floor, he fetched it. When she forgot to eat, he waited by the kitchen until she remembered. He asked for nothing, and somehow that made everything he did feel larger. The change did not come all at once. It arrived in fragments, like light finding cracks. One afternoon, she slipped on the steps and fell hard, the breath knocked from her chest. The pain was sudden and frightening, a reminder of how fragile control really was. The dog was there instantly, pressing his warmth against her side, steadying her with a presence that asked nothing and gave everything. She lay there longer than necessary, letting the moment pass through her without resistance, surprised by the relief of not being alone. Still, old habits die slowly. She scolded him when he tracked mud across the floor, ignored him when he brought her a leaf like an offering. But the dog persisted, not with stubbornness, but with devotion. He learned to open the gate for himself, to sit perfectly still when she needed space, to nudge her hand gently when she forgot to breathe. He did not challenge her authority, he softened it, reshaped it from the inside. The true test came on a winter night when the power went out and the house fell into a cold, humming darkness. She wrapped herself in blankets, anger rising at the inconvenience, fear tapping at her ribs. The dog pressed close, sharing heat, his steady breathing anchoring the room. Hours passed. In the silence, memories surfaced, of doors closed too early, of apologies never offered, of love rationed like a scarce resource. She felt tears gather, and for the first time in years did not push them away. The dog stayed, his head on her knee, a quiet witness to grief she had never named. Morning brought light and a fragile calm. She noticed then how thin he still was, how carefully he watched her face before moving. Guilt followed, then resolve. She fed him properly, brushed his coat, took him outside without rushing. The neighbors noticed the change before she did, the way her steps slowed, the way her voice softened when she spoke his name. Children who once crossed the street now waved. The house, once sharp with rules, learned new sounds, the rhythm of pause, the small sighs of contentment. The cleverness of the dog revealed itself fully one spring afternoon when she collapsed in the garden, dizzy and weak. He did not panic. He ran to the gate, barked just enough to draw attention, and led help back with purpose and urgency. The neighbors came, surprised by her vulnerability, moved by the loyalty that refused to leave her side. As she recovered, she saw herself reflected in their concern and understood something she had resisted for too long, that needing others did not make her weak. It made her human. Recovery brought change she could not undo. She thanked people, she listened, she learned to apologize. The dog remained at her side, older now, slower but still patient. She returned his devotion with care that felt like redemption. Walks became conversations with the world she had once kept at a distance. The house filled with photos, plants, laughter that startled her with its ease. She did not become perfect, but she became present. Years later, when the dog's steps faltered and his eyes clouded with age, she repaid every quiet lesson he had given. She held him through long nights, whispered gratitude into his fur, and let herself grieve openly when the time came. The neighbors gathered, not out of obligation, but out of affection for the woman she had become. In her loss there was no bitterness, only a deep, enduring warmth for a love that had asked nothing and changed everything. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that even the hardest hearts can learn to soften, please engage with this video, like it, share it, and help this message reach someone who might be waiting for their own quiet miracle. Before the ending, we have a special request. Comment below with if you believe animals can teach us the most human lessons of all. She never forgot the day the clever dog waited instead of leaving, the day patience outlasted cruelty. In learning to care for him, she learned to care for herself. And in that exchange, a guarded life opened into something rich, gentle, and enduring.